So I get transferred to a school for the mentally gifted. You know, a lot of doctors' kids, a lot of lawyers' kids, politicians' kids, and I found out that I'm poor. You know, I find out because they start asking me very, very good questions that I don't have an answer to. You know what I mean?
Like what?
Like, are those Sega Sports? I didn't know Sega made sneakers.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dang.
Where did you get your haircut at? Why would they do it like that? Like, stuff of that nature. And I'm like, the kitchen? Like, my dad cut my hair. Really? It was like, You know, I'm like, people don't wear Payless sneakers? Like, this, I didn't know. Like, everybody was poor in Germantown at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now I get over here and it's like, oh, y'all not like this? This isn't what it is? Y'all got 2 cars at your house? That's crazy. You know, and so at the time, so there was a lot with that because all of a sudden I wasn't the smart kid, you know? So I was trying to forge an identity that way. The school was like a 45 minute ride on public transportation.
Oof.
You know, I'm like 9. So that was a lot. Especially when my old school was literally down the block. Like I could see it. You know what I mean? At that time, my biological father kind of came through and was selling me some dreams. You know,
I can relate to that.
So, and then I think, so that was like 5th grade. That was all 5th grade. And then like 6th grade, my entire family moved. Like everybody but my immediate family that lived in Philadelphia moved. And, you know, I was dealing with a lot as a youth. And my parents got worried. You know, my mom was freaking out. Speaking of, like, this shaped how she treats me to this day.
Really?
Like, before this, my mom was very, very hands-on. Like, she was a bit of that mom. Like, the pageant mom.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like a tiny, just my son gonna do this, and he gonna do that, and I'm gonna get him. And after this, she was like, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want. If you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to stay, you can stay. Your grades to dip a little bit. Is everything okay? Like, it completely changed our dynamic.
Yeah.
To the point where even now, like, she's just kind of like, whatever, you know.
And I think that's the thing, and I think that's part of just like the stigma of therapy and things like that. It's like, it's literally just a brain check. It's literally like a mental health check. It's like there doesn't have to be anything necessarily wrong with you. You don't have to be going through a depression. You don't have to be manic or suicidal or anything to go to therapy. You could just simply be just feeling a little off and want to talk it through and figure things out. And sometimes it's not even all about the answers. Sometimes it's about just figuring out new questions that you want to ask yourself and new things that you want to figure out about yourself and techniques, dealing with stress and things like that. Like, things are rough these days. Like, Black people, we experience so much trauma, and people don't even understand. Like, they just chalk it up to just being a part of life when things are really, like, trauma.
Yeah. Like, still impacting you over and over again.
Yeah.
And, but, like, I always suggest that if people haven't been before, that they should, at minimum, because a professional can address you with those kinds of techniques. Like, you can always talk to your mom, your pastor, whoever.
Yeah,
you know
your friends, whoever.
Your friends.
But they don't have
they don't have that.
Right, they don't have the education or the licenses or, you know what I mean?
Like, they may not, all they can give you for the most part is their own experience. And people be going through things themselves.
Right.
So, it's hard for people that love you to not be biased when they give you advice.
This is true.
When I said earlier, I have all the answers, I just meant for me personally, because I do that with myself all the time. Ever since, you know, it started with Monk season, like, that's what that was about. It was about getting answers for why I feel and why I do, and is it healthy? You know, does it lead me to a destructive path or whatever? Like, so all of those tools are things that I make use of every day of my life. Like I talked to you before about, you know, I always ask myself, well, who do I want to be?
Right.
And
it's definitely something that I've adopted. Like I ask myself often. I used to do it every day. I think I gotta get back to it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Fell off the wagon a little bit, but I definitely want to get back to like, who do I want to be? Like, who am I? Who was I today? Was I who I want to be? And sometimes it's no, and it's like, well, how do I do better tomorrow?
How do I get back to that? How do I stay? Because for real, it's all about focus. Like it'll keep you focused on your long-term goal, and you know that you're working towards that, so it's easier not to be frustrated when things aren't necessarily moving at the pace that you would like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when it comes to short-term things, then they're just benchmarks for everything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like, yo, talk to a therapist because they might be able to give you something that you can't get elsewhere.
Right, or something that you didn't even know that you needed.
Something that you didn't know you needed, yo.
Something you didn't even know you needed. I'm in the process of interviewing therapists now to find like my therapist. Yeah,
because I mean, you definitely got to do that too. Because with that said, I mean, just like with anything else, people be whack out here.
Right, exactly. You don't just go to any barber. Right, you don't go to any nail tech. You don't go to any hairstylist.
Give me some references.
Exactly. Like sometimes you have to find the right one. It's not a one therapist fits all. You have to find the one that, you know what I mean, kind of speaks to your soul. That, you know what I mean, like, okay, I can do this.
They can identify with
right. Exactly.
Speaking of barbers, I definitely gotta get to the shop tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whoa, Penny. You ain't have to be so quick with the agreement. My goodness. Absolutely. Get yourself together. You looking bad out here. That's crazy.
I didn't say none of those things.
It was all implied. Did you hear how many syllables you let out? It was, yeah. My goodness.
Go ahead. Woo. Get cleaned up a little bit.
I gotta let the beard go for real.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like it's not even as crazy as I've seen it. I've seen you look way more crazy.
That's when I'm in like full.
Like you was looking like Castaway that one summer. I was like,
I'm not doing enough.
You good? Like everything good, cuz?
Yo, I was just telling about how y'all ran up at my crib the one time. Like you and La ran up on me. Yeah. Like where you at? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I'm the pull up goat.
It just happened today.
Like I'm the pull up goat. Like if something don't feel right, if something don't seem right, look, my discernment's on a beam. Like, listen, I mean, it don't work that great for me in relationships. Stuff gets a little
different.
Let me not even get into that. But anyway, like I pull up if something don't feel right, especially if it's somebody I care about and I know it's something not right. I'm pulling up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did not even get the courtesy of, yo, I'm on my way today. It was just, yo, I'm outside. I'm like, I pulled my robe together. Like, what? You outside? My goodness.
My bad. I mean, I thought we had a set time. You know what I mean?
You know. I mean,
and look, if you told me about
full disclosure, I mean, there was a time when set times did not matter.
To me, right?
8:30 might mean 9:45.
But you see, that's growth, right?
That is growth.
That's the growth.
Yeah, shout out to growth.
Shout out to growth, because before 8:30, I would have rolled up at like 10. Like, can we still do it?
I don't watch Empire and everything. It's crazy.
But you know what? Well, it kind of started it off. It didn't kick in immediately, but probably like that next season, I probably like start being like trying to be more punctual and stuff. It's when you was training me. Yo, I was smooth.
I know you was mad that day
for months. I was mad at you for months. I told lie, like I was heated. I drove all the way to, what was it, in Jenkintown?
It wasn't even Jenkintown. It was at Rock. I swore it was the one at Roxborough.
No, it was Jenkintown.
Was it Jenkintown?
It was the LA in Jenkintown.
Oh.
I drove all the way to the LA in Jenkintown. I think I was still living in North then.
Oh, I thought.
So I drove from North to Jenkintown.
You sure it wasn't Roxborough?
No, it wasn't Roxborough.
Yo, I drove mad far.
I remember. And I think my stickers wasn't right, so I already didn't want to drive out there.
There's so many layers to this story I did not know before.
Yeah. So I pull up. Of course, I'm late, but I wasn't even like as late as I usually be. I might have been like,
you were like fashionably late.
All right, but I wasn't as late as I usually be.
No, for me, fashionably late. I think if it was 8:00, and I'm like, yo, the rule I set was like, listen. If I tell you 8:00, you got till 8:10.
And it might have been like 8:15.
And it was like 8:15.
And you was like, no. And I was like, stop playing.
And I was like, no.
And you was like, no, I'm for real. Like,
I already left.
I'm not, yeah. And I was like, yo, stop playing. Like, I was so mad. Like, it was like tears in my eyes. I was like, I can't believe him. Like, why he acting like this? I was so mad. But then he was just like, respect my time. And I was like, dang, he's right. I was still mad.
No.
But it was just like, he's right. I should respect my time.
That year, I was training and I was working like 12-hour days at the gig. So I think I had somebody before you, and it was just like, yo, I just got off work, I trained somebody else, and I need you to be on time because I want to go home. Yeah, man. And it was like, yo, this lateness not it, yo. Like, we can't have this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be it. And that's where the respect my time, like, yo, please. Like, respect my time. You know?
It was crazy. I was so mad for months. But, you know what I mean? Stuff like that situation, and there was like other little situations that happened after that, even not with time, but just like, you know, like how I treated people and just like situations that I ended up in and stuff like that where I wasn't my best self. You know what I mean? It really like, it shaped me. It's like, who do I want to be? That's not who I want to be. Like, I don't want people to think that I don't respect their time. I don't want people to think that I don't appreciate the things that they do for me. So let me get my ish together.
Wild part is, like, I didn't even know you was mad for real.
I wasn't speaking to you.
I was like,
you probably didn't even know. I wasn't speaking to you.
No, I was like, what? This is news to me. I'm like, oh shoot, my bad.
Yo, I called lie so quick. I was like, yo, let me tell you what Tim did to me.
Yeah. I was about to say, I was training law around that time. I had like, I forget how many clients I had around that time. That's when I was the Heroes for Hire PT. I probably had at least like I want to say 8 to 10 people. So it was just like, it was a lot. That's when I was trying to do everything in life. Like, yo, I'm about to train. I'm about to work 12 hours at the gig. I'm about to go skydiving, race car driving, and all this other stuff. And I'm still going to be at every bar.
All the functions.
For all the functions.
Every function.
Yeah.
I think that was before Moncton. That was like right before. It was like right around that. Like, and even that was a crazy transition for all of us. We was like, what? You're not drinking.
You're not drinking.
Yo,
you're not drinking.
What are we supposed to do?
It used to be so strong. It used to be so strong. Like, you're not drinking. And I'm like,
what you mean? What you mean you're not drinking?
Like, man.
What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Who's having an asset? Who's making that's not juice? Like, who's doing this?
There's so many things. Like, how long ago? That was probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago when like monk season and not drinking and not eating processed food. Like this change. That's when I started asking myself, you know, who do you want to be? What do you want to be known as? Like, we had conversations prior to that about perception and things like that.
Right.
And while perception became more important to me, it became more important. Like, people even now, they'd be like, yo, you used to be on Twitter fishing, and I did.
You used to be wildin', period. I got so many videos and pictures of you in the act of, like, wilding out. And it's like, this person in front of me is not that person.
Yeah. And the funny part about that is that...
But the thing is, your spirit's the same. Like, a lot of the things that you do and you believe and you're inflexible about now, you weren't before, but you still have, like, the same spirit. Like, you're the same person. Fundamentally, you're the same person.
Well, that's I tell people all the time, like, I know what my foundations were built on. And so, like, the wildin' years were more of stepping away from that. So it was easier for me to come back to, well, this is who I want to be.
Right.
Yeah, man. And knowing that, it was just kind of like, all right. Like, people will ask me all the time, like, how do you stop cursing? And I'm like, well, for real, I didn't start till I was like 19, 20. And then I cursed like a sailor. Yeah, I mean, I was out here adopting everything. And so when I decided, yo, I don't want to anymore, it was just kind of like, all right, take these steps and you'll get there. As far as like physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you know, it was the same kind of process. Just, all right, this is who I want to be. How do I get there? This is how I can get there.
Right. And I mean, I respect it so much because I watch so many, especially men, like, struggle with it. Like, who they want to be and how they want to get there. And, like, some of them don't make it.
Well, I mean, I guess some of it is dependent on how strong your motivation is, too. I don't... Like, people try to change every day for romantic relationships. But like I said, if your foundation isn't that, then you basically just constantly faking,
right.
You know?
Facts, big facts.
So, it's like, I want to be better for me. And because of that, it makes me a better someone else. I love me some me. So,
yes, love me some me.
So, it makes it easier for me to love someone else.
Right.
And it makes it easier for me to be loved in the way that I need to be.
And that's a major one. Like, being able to be loved. Like, a lot of people know how to give love or what they think is giving love. Mm-hmm. But when it's that receiving part, it gets a little rough. It gets a little hairy, and they don't necessarily know what it feels like or what it looks like or how to do it.
Yeah. Like, it's tough because, like, you know, when people talk about love languages and all that kind of stuff.
I love the 5 love languages.
For real, there was a time when I was super not a fan.
Really?
Because, like, you're like, yo, my love language is gifts. And it's like, all right, is it gifts or is it expensive gifts? You know what I'm saying? Like, can my mom...
But you know what? I've honestly never met anyone who, like, their top language was, like, gifts.
I've seen people, like, purport it on Twitter all the time. So, I'm like, all right.
I don't believe it.
Who knows?
Like, I know for me, it's like acts of service. And that's, like, really my life. Like, I hate pumping gas.
I know.
I hate, like, I wouldn't have been out there shoveling. You would have never caught me out there shoveling. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like carrying groceries. I don't like any of that stuff. So, like, the man in my life, like, he do all that. Like, we good. Like, that's showing me that you love me and you care about me because you know I don't like doing that stuff.
The funny thing about, like, the grocery thing, right? So I was having discussion about that very thing. Shorty was like, yo, if you were here, I could have did this at the grocery store. I could have did that. And I'm like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, so there are things that you don't buy at the grocery store because you don't want to carry them up the steps?
Yes.
That's so...
I'm super single now, so I'm not getting nothing heavy.
And so, all right, so there's that, right? And then there was a time I was at the gym, and one of my old heads was saying, like, we were talking, ha, 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 yeah, that's crazy, you know, so forth and so on. And then he's like, oh, all right, y'all, I'm out. And it's like, Dad, that was fast. He was like, yeah, the wife calling. I mean, I gotta go get the groceries out the car. And I was like,
goals.
And I was like, yo, what? So he was like, yeah, you know, she just feel like she married, she got a husband for that, so I'm about to go do it.
Does he got a son?
And I'm like, for me, that was such a foreign. I was like, so hold on. You mean to tell me like the frozen desserts are melting in the car because you're not home to get to them? Now I think he lived fairly close by, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. You know what I mean? But I'm like, so anytime she go grocery shopping, you come to the crib and take the stuff out the car. And he was like, yo, she feel like she got a husband. That's what a husband's for. You know what I mean? I don't got no problem. I'm like, all right. Like, that's super foreign to me.
Yeah, I love that.
And I see this look of joy in your face as I tell this story, right? But I'm like, yo...
But it's so simple, though.
Here go. I know it is. It is. It's super simple. And if it works for them, great. Great for them.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but my whole thing is I don't have anything like that. Like I know men who will be like, well, my wife cook. That's what my wife does. I never cook. If my wife don't cook, I don't eat.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like...
Well, I mean, listen, if you're carrying the groceries, I'll cook.
Well, and here go... And, all right, and for some people, that's compromise.
Compromise.
You know what I mean? Something we keep coming back to today. But, like, for me, I'm like, yo, I don't know. Like, I don't know of a situation where I would call you and be like, yo, I need you to take care of this for me. You know what I mean? That I can't take care of myself. That I don't want to take care of myself. Like, I don't have any of that.
Okay.
So, when I'm talking to women and they're like, no, I'm not carrying nothing heavy, I'm like, I don't have that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I carry heavy stuff all the time. You know? So, like, for me, it would be like, yo, I'm going to help you find a way that you can do this. I don't... And the reason I say that, yo, I wish y'all could have saw the look she just gave me. It was like, what? Right? I'll give you another example.
Because it's not that I can't do it. I don't want to. Well, I don't need you to help me find a way to do it. I don't want to do it.
Well, here's the other thing.
Like, I don't want to pump gas. Today I pumped my gas.
With
a grimacing look.
And see, this is where it's at, right? So my coworker was telling me a story. You know, one of his aunts died. Well, not his aunt. His uncle died. You know, so left the aunt, and they were asking her questions about like the finances and stuff. And she was like, I don't know. He handled all of that.
Oh no, see, no.
And with my own aunt and uncle. You know, my uncle was super handy, so he took care of stuff all around the house. And my aunt handled all the finances because she was an accountant.
Makes sense.
So...
But I still feel like it should be some overlap. Like
we
got cross-trained.
It should be. And that's all I'm getting at.
Cross-trained.
And that's all I'm getting at. So it's like, yo, there's nothing that I can't do for me. There's nothing that I have that I don't want to do because I've been doing this for... all of this time. I've been single a long time. You know what I mean? I was single a long time and I lived by myself for a long time.
I feel that.
So it's kind of like if I didn't do it, it didn't get done, and I had to get it done. Like for real.
But then you have to look at my situation where it's like, yeah, I don't want to do these things because I'm not necessarily used to doing these things. I was like literally in back-to-back long-term relationships. Like one was 6 years, and then the one right after was 5. Like.
I understand that. I super understand that because the other story I was hearing, it was like, Shorty was riding around with like bad tags, and somebody had to alert her, like, yo, you know your tags bad? Like, really? Oh, my dad usually takes care of all of that. Like, I had no idea. So it's stuff of that kind of nature, and I'm like, yo, wow. Wow. I know that exists for people. It's just never something that I've experienced, because like my mom, when I moved out, my mom gave me cookware. I mean, she gave me mad casserole dishes. I had my own like pots and pans.
Nice.
You know, and
you used to cook too. I remember.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she gave me a cookbook. Like, I had like a Betty Crocker cookbook, and I would flip through the thing sometimes.
Yeah, you used to do a thing.
So it would be like, all right, what am I in the mood for today? Because I couldn't afford to go out, so I gotta cook this up. I gotta chef it up today. You know, and so there was that. You know, I liked women. Women like clean places, so I kept my place clean. So I cleaned on a regular basis. You know, the handier stuff. My job is handy, so I had to be good at that.
Right.
I was driving a hoopty at one point, so I had to be good with, you know, automobiles.
Getting that thing to start.
All of that.
Hitting the starter with the hammer.
So so I was trying to think of, you know, when we start talking about like gender roles and everything like that, like, I don't necessarily need a woman to do anything for me.
Right.
It's just like, yo, if I want you around, I want you around.
That's dope.
You know?
I saw a post yesterday, changing your perspective or whatever. Shout out to Shy. And she had asked, she was like, is it better for a man to need you or a man to want you? And I would definitely say it's better for anyone to want you and not need you, because like the need could change.
Yeah.
And if the need could change, like, they out. If they like literally like genuinely want you there, like, I feel like that speaks much higher volumes, you know what I mean? And I think it's just better for the relationship altogether, where it's like, no, I don't need you, but I want you. And I think that's like so much more important.
Shoot, I'd be wanting to be wanted.
Right.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because you come across people who don't know how to float in those situations. Like, dang, he don't like need me for nothing.
No, I don't want you to need me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's like, dang, he don't need me for nothing. What do I do? Like, you know, like.
But if that's the case, where it's like you need to be needed, and like you do certain things so people need you, or you like monopolize certain things so people need you, you should probably go to therapy.
I would say sometimes people don't even know they're doing it. Like for you, you've been in these long-term relationships, so you had people that took care of things for you, and you know you don't want to do them, so the next person has to take care of it too. You know what I mean? And
but I'm taking care of it now.
I know. So all of that conversation started because she mentioned the same thing. She was like, yo, you know, like car stuff. And I'm like, all right. I mean, that's something I would be with. Like, I can fix things. So, cool. But it also meant, like, registration. And basically it meant anything car related. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? Like, you can't go get the car inspected? like you can't fill out the form and mail that joint out for your registration? Like, what you talking about?
You can do that joint online now.
Like, yo, like it's a couple. It's like sending an email. Yo, you can't send an email. Like, yo, crap. Like, just hold on.
No, I'm actually good with that stuff. Like, I don't go do the oil change. Like, I even changed my own tire not too long ago.
Look at this.
You see me?
You see me? I remember getting that phone call.
I had to change my tire. I was all the way out of Bluebell. It was just like, what you going to do, Bree? You know, I'm on the abusers list for AAA, so, you know, they not fooling with me.
Can you get that clear at some point?
I think I got 3 more years.
Yo.
I think I can't, like, get it for, like, 5 years.
Yo, how wildin' do you gotta be? No. No, we're not coming out there for
I'm
that.
an abuser.
Man, it's crazy. No, it's just funny, yo. Like, everybody has what they need, right? Everybody has what they want, and just kind of cooking off of those things and bouncing off of those things all the time. Yeah, I mean, I realized a while ago, like, as far as like what I want, what I need, I think it's a personality type. It's like it's an approach to life. That's all I was saying. It's an approach to life, and if you approach life this way, everything else is kind of auxiliary. Like it's not necessarily like I got a lot of like physical types, and you can be into a lot of different things. But if you approach life the way I approach life, then we'll be good.
I feel that.
Yeah, man.
I definitely feel that. You don't have to be into the same things as me, but as long as we can bang on like a moral level,
yeah,
like I'm straight with that. If you say something out of pocket, or I feel like if your outlook on life or outlook on people is like something I can't get jiggy with, then I just can't get jiggy with it.
Like that's when I seek some clarity. Like hold on, like that's what you mean? Like that's what my mm-hmm. That's you talk about like growth, right? There were plenty of times where I was always a fan of walking and talking. I love to walk and talk. Let's go, have these kinds of conversations. I'll be having the raps.
Right.
So I would ask things and we'd walk and talk and whatever. And by the end of the conversation, I'd be like, oh no. Yeah, I mean, but for some women, that's just kind of like, oh my God. Like we could talk forever about whatever. And in my mind, I'm just like, oh no, you never gonna hear from me again. Yeah, man. That's me washing my hands. Yeah, man. And the difference now is, I would say, seeking more understanding. Like, all right, is this really what you meant? Like, is this really where this comes from? And if not, if you meant something, oh, okay. Like, just kind of just being willing to express myself and not just dip.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, like just be like, oh no.
I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that because I'll just dip.
Like I said, I mean,
but it's like, yeah, it depends though. In certain situations, I'm out. But then in other ones, it's like, you know what I mean? To be understood, sometimes you have to seek to understand. Yeah. So it's like, let me try to see where they're coming from. And if I still ain't like that, nah.
And even, I mean, that's the thing about it too. Like, you can understand all day long.
And still not be cool with it.
And still not be cool with it. So,
yeah.
But one of my mantras is, I just don't want to be whack. And
I feel that on a spiritual level.
So
God didn't create me to be whack.
That's even better. I might start using that. God didn't create me to be whack. But so that's where that like communication things comes from. Like let me express myself. Let me tell people, what I need from them. I've had those kinds of conversations with friends. With more than friends, it's just like, yo, this is what I want, this is what I need. If you can't give me that, then it just means our relationship changes. I'll meet you where you're at. I'm also understanding that everybody's not willing, everybody's not able to match your energy all the time.
That's a big one. I had to kind of learn that too. Because it's like, me, I'm high. I'm there. Like when I'm there, I'm there. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of times people don't be like there with me. So at one point it would be like, I would almost be offended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, super offended.
It's like I would be offended. And it's like, why you not why you not reciprocating? Like, I need reciprocity. Like, what's up? And I had to learn, like, even like from that, and just like the whole thing, like the whole concept of being offended in general. It's like, usually when you're offended, when you get that little punch in your heart, when you like feeling that in your stomach and your heart, and it's just like, like, you know what I mean? That's usually pride and ego, honestly. And like, I just started saying, like, why am I upset about this? Like, is this like even directed towards me? Is this something I should even feel offended by? And like, most of the time it's like, nah. And it's just like, let it go. It's not that deep.
On a similar subject, the other day, my youngest brother, hit me up, and he was like, yo, bro, I miss you. I'm like, all right, and we were talking about, some different things. And then, like, a couple of days later, he hit me again, like, yo, what you doing, this weekend in July? And I'm like, I don't know, I might be in Ocean City with the homies. If not, then my plan is to be in Philly all summer. And he was like, I got some days off. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to Ocean City, like, just roll with us. Like, just come with the homies. If not, just come up to Philly. And he was like, well, what's going on in Philly? And it rubbed me the wrong way immediately. Like, immediately. Like, just, like, what you mean? Like, what you mean what's going on in Philly? Like, I'm in Philly. Like, this is where I'm at. Like, come to Philly to see me, And he was like, well, I was trying to get this cruise. Like, the conversation continued. And I was trying to work through, like, yo, like, why did that bother me like that?
Right.
Like, why was that so, like, why is it still,
right?
And I figured it, because my thought process was like, yo, like, why am I not enough? You know what I mean? And where does that come from? Like, why do I feel like that? Like, why am I not enough? And like I said, when my family all moved, we would go see them every year. And the only time they would come to Philly was like kind of a pit stop. Like, all right, we're on our way to New York, or, somebody was getting married up here, so they came for this. But they never, like, just came to Philly for us. And so it made me resentful as a kid. Because I'm like, at some point, I'm like, yo, like, what's up? Like, I'm here. Like, we always got to, like, we used to go down there and see the whole family. And I would cry all the way home. It was like 10 hours.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, And I got to a point where I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, we poor. We find a way. You know what I mean? And, like, obviously my grandparents, they were older. My aunt said to me later, she was like, well, like, when I moved here, you ain't seen me like that. And I'm just like, yo, I wasn't off the porch yet, for real.
Right.
Like, and then she moved to Florida, and she was like, yo, come down Tampa. And I'm like, yo, I ain't even been on a plane yet. I hadn't been on a plane yet. So that wasn't real to me.
Right.
But if you right here in my living room, then that's real. Like, I can do that. Now, if we talking about now, then yeah, I would have immediately.
Right. No problem.
I'm
no
not
question.
Here. Yeah, there's no, I do that kind of stuff all the time now. And just realize, again, like I said, realizing that having issues with what felt like abandonment then. You know what I mean? Having issues with my biological father, what felt like abandonment. And now, like I said, my brother moved away. Like, I'm still here. Like, I ain't tell you to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But having been down there, knowing that you look happy.
You and that's really what it matters. Right?
Like, I see why you like it here. And people move for a reason. So I don't expect you to come up here all the time. But one time I would like it to. I had the same conversation with him. Like, yo, like, bro, like, the other time you come up here was for the Eagles parade and, for somebody's wedding and whatever. Like, one time, come up here and hang out. Because there are things here that I know you haven't seen before. And I want us to, share some of that.
Right.
As you know, it's a theme. It's a theme. So, realizing where all of that comes from, and asking myself, well, how important is this to you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And why is it important to you?
And I think that's really what it comes down to. The hows and the whys of living our best lives and how we get there. Right? So, to wrap this up.
I was about to say, it's about that time, yo.
It's about that time. Thank you so much for doing this. I know we've been trying to do this for a minute.
Crazy.
We've been trying to do this for a minute. Like, we've literally recorded shows, and I just haven't been able to put them out. But I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you giving me so much of your time. And thanks for being on the show. Do you want to give them your handles and stuff? You got anything going on?
Don't follow me.
No, you don't want to follow you?
Don't follow me. I'm terrible.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, thanks. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening. That good stuff.